powered by Riverside FM.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Fun Time Super Terrific Happy Hour. Welcome, Jandler.
Welcome, Choey. We're nearing that winter time, a little break, around the corner. Did it the last couple of days, like I like the AC on in the apartment because it'd be kind of hot or warm at least, right? And last night I was watching one of my ex or former students play soccer, and good thing I would turn around and got my hoodie before I left school. It got a little chilly, got a little nippy.
Yeah, I like blew in late last night.
Yeah. And then this morning I was just like, whoa. It's like, okay, it's December out here in Texas, We
These
forget sometimes.
these are those days though, like that. It's like okay, cool, whatever. But I just don't like them so much, and the fact that like it's like like you said, it's like cold in the morning, and in the afternoon you're like you could be wearing shorts and a t-shirt,
Yeah.
and so it's like you would never. I mean, not that you can't say you don't dress comfortable, but it's like sucks because it's like okay, I'm dressing like this, and then in the afternoon I'm not going to be comfortable because I'm gonna sweat my butt off if I'm wearing long sleeves and all this other stuff.
Well, like I was laughing this morning because I don't know if I ever told you, we do morning recess, like between 7:10 and 7:30.
Yeah.
And like some of those teachers, they were like bundled. Like I know it was like in the 40s this morning, right? Like it was like 47 or something.
Yeah.
And I can't get the WTF app to open right now. But anyway, some of the teachers were like bundled up, and I'm like, I kind of smiled in my head. I didn't say anything. I'm just like, I get it's chilly, but it's not like it's that cold, But then one of the teachers I work with, they're from her and her husband are from Oregon, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, and her husband like had this like he was bundled up like he was going like to the Arctic. It seemed like, right? And I joked with her later, like, "Hey, did you make fun of your husband?" And she's like, "Why?" And I was like, "That dude was dressed like it was like, Antarctica outside." And she's like, "Yeah." She's like, "Well, I'll make fun of him because I make fun of him anyway." But she's like, "Well, he never likes the cold or whatever." But she's like, "Okay, I get that." But it's like, again, like it to me, there's really no wind down here compared to like up north.
Yeah.
So like our 47 is about like 47, 46. When I lived in Illinois, that 47 could be like 20, because there's so much wind.
Because the wind and stuff like that.
Yeah, because the wind might be like 20, 30 miles an hour, and it's just like that wind makes you, all I can say is it makes a huge difference, people. When there's no wind, you're like, okay. When there's wind blowing, you're like, oh my gosh, how do I hide? But
Well, you know what's crazy is like I never understood that whole wind chill thing for a long time. I was like, what does that even mean? But then like I got to like when I finally found out, I was like, oh, that makes sense.
yeah.
And after that, I was like, if I would actually look out for like the hey, is it gonna be windy? Because like that stuff's like it didn't play nothing. Like you're like, oh
You know how we get sunburn, right?
yeah,
It's obviously from the sun. There was a day I was still in the Navy, but I was in Illinois and I was volunteering. Like they were doing this golf tournament, right? They did like this Navy golf tournament, or there was some base golf tournament, and all I did for like 3 or 4 hours was sit on this one hole because it was supposed to be like this prize hole, and I ended up getting windburn, right? Because like my face, my lips were chapped, looked like I'd been in the sun because the skin was kind of peeling because the wind was just constantly just against my face. I didn't even realize it until after the day, but yeah, wind is crazy, man. Wind is crazy.
that's why I don't want to move. Like I feel like I don't want to move because it's like what do you? Everywhere you go, there's gonna be some sort of issue with like weather. Like people are like, oh, I want to move north because like that way I can actually enjoy like a season or some crap like that. And it's like I get you that it's cold, but then all of a sudden you gotta like you talked about before, snow tires and all this other stuff. I don't know how to use snow tires.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly. Exactly. But I was just thinking about when I was talking about the wind, little educational note here, every now and then we drop nuggets of knowledge.
Yeah,
It just reminded me I've been teaching like weathering and erosion recently.
yeah.
And that wind helps, wind and water help like that's how you get like the Grand Canyon and stuff, time, pressure of all that stuff. Moving dirt and soil from one end to the other, and that's how things just end up changing. But all right, we're gonna jump to the holidays real quick.
Heck yeah.
Holidays.
Here are today's holidays. Oh, it's freezing on me. It's December 20th. Come on. There we go. It's National Cocoa Day. Oh, that's
Whoop,
not
whoop.
right. That's December 15th.
It seems like it should be. It's cold enough for it.
It is cold enough. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm laughing at myself. I didn't do the holidays. Let me check real quick. It's National Sangria Day, just so you know.
You're all, why don't you just tell me what the holidays are?
Exactly. It's like we do need an AI doing that. I feel like Sherry or Jay Bings dropped one on me there. Like, that's a week ago. But it's National Sangria Day. Were you a big sangria drinker?
I might have had it like once or twice, man, but that's probably been my full experience with it.
I would tell you this. I don't have a problem with sangria. It's just it doesn't seem like it's not a drink you have with when you're just hanging out with the dudes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I've had sangria because I work with women, and
I
it's not a
mean,
bad drink. I'm
dep
just saying it's just not what guys do together. You know,
depending
it's
upon
like
what kind of guys. Depending upon
we're
what
like
kind of guys.
we're like I want beer and whiskey, right? Yeah, that's what men do. Rah.
Dude, no. Maybe I don't know. I haven't had whiskey in like forever. But I've never been much of a whiskey guy. Like I just can't, like I'm not like it's not, and I'm not ashamed to
Well,
say it. Like I like pina coladas.
well, I'm not afraid to say I drink whiskey, but like people that drink it straight, or my friends every now and then I hang out with my soccer friends that want to do shots.
Yeah,
I'm like, I get that burning in my chest, and I'm like, oh, guys. I was like, I'd rather. Or there's this one of my friends in Illinois. She knew the fruity shots,
yeah,
like apple pie or like stuff like that, bubble gum. It doesn't taste like a shot. That's kind
yeah.
of what I mean, because I'm older. I was like, that's what I want. I don't even want to know I'm drinking. I'll feel it later, type thing.
No, I get you. I
Uh,
feel
this
you.
December 20th is also Ugly Sweater Day. One thing's for sure, this holiday will certainly have you laughing all day long. We get a pajama day at school. We already had our ugly sweater day.
Fun stuff. Fun stuff.
And then December 20th will end on Go Caroling Day. Once upon a time, Christmas celebrations wouldn't have been anything without caroling. We had it's called the choir. The choir, they came in, I forget it was the last week, but they came in and sang a couple songs for us at the end of the day. I was like, sure.
That's nice.
Yeah, they just knocked on the door.
I wish I had like a voice to actually go caroling and sound good. Like I realize caroling anybody can go, but it's like I feel like people would not like Christmas as much if I was to sing carols to them. They probably would be like a little upset at the fact
Well, I
that
mean, if you sing in a group, are you noticeable?
I don't
You
know.
stand out like that? They're like, turn his microphone off. Type thing.
They're
Just
like,
don't let him
please,
know about
please turn that off. Just don't let
it.
him. He's horrible.
Let him keep singing his heart's delight out. We just won't want anyone to hear. There was a movie. I think Chong was in it, right? And it might even have been a Cheech and Chong movie years ago. But he was talking to this girl. It was like, I guess they had a band, and they're like, man, this one day we didn't know what was going on. This like crazy sound was happening. Like it sounded like a dog or an animal was being murdered. And then we realized your microphone was on. So we turned it off. We're like, what the heck? Talking to this chick, and it's just crazy. All right, we're gonna jump into the.
That's
It's
messed
time
up
for
though.
this week's edition of Choey and Jandler's headlines. Yay! Hooray!
Yeah, it's messed up because I don't even remember the movie. Like whoever listens, maybe they know, but I just remember laughing, and I was young. But all right, headlines, dude. I had my observation recently. First time ever, I felt like I kind of had to bribe my kids. Hey, don't be like crazy, zoo animals, and we'll get lunch bunch type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I teacher friends would always tell me that. I was like, I don't want to do that, but I did try it.
I always loved when I would do classroom observations, how I would come in and the kids would just be so honest about it. They'd be like, "Oh, you're the special visitor and the reason why we got to be on our best behavior today." It's like, so you didn't prep the kids for this, huh?
I mean, I try not to, but like I was telling them this because most of the time, I'm like, hey, when people come in, just do your thing. They're here to like see what we're doing, right? But I was kind of
Yeah.
ignore that, or like because I don't like to know about it. But I was trying harder this time. I'll be honest. I went whole ass, instead of half. And I was trying, and so I was just like, I may bleep that out. Who knows? That
Well,
word's allowed on
I just like the
TV now, right?
analogy. It's like, well, I wasn't doing it halfway. I was doing it the whole way.
Yeah. But anyway, it was just crazy. Dude, we had our field trip last week, man. So just some field trip hiccups. Just and there wasn't nothing like really wrong or funny, but so we were supposed to eat outside. We went to the museum. We are supposed to eat across the street outside, and it's
Yeah.
called like Lionsfield Park. Well, it was misting that day. It wasn't like raining hard, but it was water. So we're like on the way there. My lead teacher is calling the museum. She's trying to say like, "Hey, is there anywhere we can eat?" And apparently, they're like, "Yeah, there's like this area, and they were gonna like offer it to us at a discount for like $75." And we had the check was already cut. And then
Yeah.
as she was reaching for the phone, they're like, "Unless you can't pay for it." She's like, "Yeah, we can't pay for that because we're a Title I school." And so they're like, "Okay." So we got it for free, but we were supposed to eat at like 10:30, and they're like, "Well, you can't eat till noon." So then it's like we had like an hour and a half. It's kind of like that's when the area was available because there was another school there.
Yeah.
So I had to like tell the kids like, "Hey," like it was my kids the whole time were just like, "When's lunch?" And I was like, "Not till noon, not till noon."
You're all, don't worry about it.
Yeah, but I did something I had never done. This is the third time we got to the museum, and you've been to the museum, right?
Yeah.
The big area. The place is cool. A lot of STEM activities, a lot of hands-on things for kids. But I had like 14 parents going or something, right? But only 3 of them were had the background check cleared, right? And so, but like those 3, I gave them their kid and like 1 quiet kid, right? So that was like 6 kids, and then the other 11 had their kids. So that was like 17, and then I had like the others. Of course, a couple parents they couldn't make it for whatever reason. So anyway, I only ended up with I had like 8 kids, and those 8 kids I had together, like they were some of the hyper ones, but I actually like had to trust, and it was tough for me, man, to be like, "Hey, I know you with your kid, but I trust that you get them back at lunch at noon, and then you meet us after we're done eating at 12 from 12:30 to 1:15. We still had some more time,
Yeah.
but everyone got home safe. That's always the important thing, right?
That's a gamble. That's a
Everybody
gamble
gets
right
home.
there. I wouldn't have let anybody out of my side. I've been like, nope.
There we go. Yeah, I know. It's a
You're
gamble.
you're excited the fact that they all got home, so you gave yourself a round of applause.
Exactly. Well, yeah, exactly. The parents were able to like get them home safe. But
That's
no,
some
it was
stuff.
a gamble. But at the same time, like, well, they're with their own kids though. I gotta hope they can manage that business.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Sometimes, some. I mean, God bless parents and everything, but at the same time, some of them come in and you're just like, hey, dude, like this isn't like a free visit to the place we're at right now for you.
Yeah. But also, it was like, what I do after we got done with eating lunch, I think like maybe 2 of those parents had to leave, and so I was like, oh, so I got 2 more kids in my little group. But it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier managing like 8 to 10. Although I'm constantly like, let's go, slow down, let's go, slow down. Like, where's everybody at, dude? Like I told you just last year when I was talking about the field trip, like they joke about us like herding cattle or herding cats. I mean,
Yeah.
like I'm trying to count the kids because I spend I'm like the count from Sesame Street constantly on a field trip. But I'm trying to count and they keep moving. I'm like, stand still, stop moving, stop moving. I want to make sure I got everybody. Nah, yeah. They was like bumping around or whatever, but it's. And
What
then
would
my
bo-
last. Oh, sorry. What were you gonna say?
I was just say, what would bother me like when I would be like the kind of like the lead one that's supposed to be like guiding the field trip. He's like, all right, when we get back on the bus, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna count them. And I'm like, and I'm just counting them, in my head, moving my finger around, counting each of the kids. And then you got the person next to you who feels like they're being helpful. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they're like, I'm counting them. Please don't I don't need to hear you count while I'm trying to count because we're not on the same number. And you don't want to be ugly to them, but at the same time, you want to just be like, no, no, you missed that one, by the way. Like you shouldn't be on 6 with over there with Quentin. You should be on 5. You should be on 7. Quentin's number 7 because you see George right next to Quentin. That's what's no. Please stop.
You're like, kids, hold up your number.
Yeah,
But that was like, I still remember years ago, and my Illinois teacher friends, kind of the ones that like they clued me into it, right? You think days like the party day, which is the winter party coming up, And like the field trip, you're like, oh, those are less stressful days because you don't got to plan anything, right? You're like, you're not really teaching, but it's actually more stressful. It's like it's even more.
Because you're like, all these kids got to make it home, otherwise that's my job.
Yeah. But it's just like I said, you're constantly counting. And on the bus, I'm like, I was doing a thing on the way back because I was sitting in the back with some kids they're getting kind of hyper on the way there, and I was trying to calm them down on the way back. And so I was doing I was setting timers on my phone. I was like, if you can go, we have what we call class. We use Class Dojo. I don't know if you use Class Dojo.
I've
We
heard
give
of it.
them points for it, right? And I'm like, I was betting. I was like, I bet y'all can't go 10 minutes without talking, right? And it was like there was like 5 kids. And I was like, if y'all go 10 minutes without talking, I'll give you like 20 points or whatever, right? And
So you're
and
gambling with the children?
yeah, I was setting the timer, and it was funny because it's like one of them would be trying to tell the other, they're like doing all these like charades, like hand signals, like, but they're trying to like motion, be quiet, and I was like, it works, man. I did I had to give a lot of points away, but I
Yeah.
bet them, like, I gambled with him a couple times. I was like, I don't think you can do it. I don't think you can go 5 minutes without talking. Then he did it. I don't think you can go 10. They wanted me to do 20. I was like, well, we're almost back, but I was like, I don't think you can make it till we get back to school. After that time. If you can, I'll give you, some more points. But
I
we
always
came here,
loved.
we still had about like an hour, well, still like 30, 40 minutes before school was over when we got back too.
I always loved the kids that thought they were helping you when you're like, all right, I need everybody to be quiet. We're gonna do this, and like so, like the kids, most of them are quiet. There might be one or two goofing off, and they're like, shh, and they're just like making such a loud noise with it. Be quiet.
Yeah.
And then another one yells at the other one, you be quiet. No, you. He said to be quiet. And you're like, guys, you're messing it up.
That's what I want to hit my head on the wall. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, and you're like, just everybody shut up. And that's like, shut up's not even a bad word.
Hey, last bus story type thing. Other than like football games or whatever, that's the only time you really rode the school bus, right?
I know, when I was a kid, like,
Okay. Oh, that's right. You
probably,
did ride the bus. You told us that story. Okay. No, the reason I bring that up, right? Because I used to ride the bus too back in the day before I went to Burning in high school and everything.
yeah.
And almost every time I was on the bus, I'd take a nap, right? And so, it's like I kind of got myself conditioned. So I get on that bus. When I first started doing field trips on the bus, I'd be like fighting sleep because I'm so my body's like, oh, we're on a bus, it's time to go take a nap, and I'm like, no. Well, this year and the first year, I didn't like even remotely get tired. So maybe my body's adapted to like, yeah, we don't sleep on the bus anymore. We actually got to watch these kids. And it's funny. The bus driver is telling the kids like, hey, you sit forward, do this, whatever, right? And on the way there, I'm facing backwards because I wanted to see these kids, and I'm like, don't do what I do. Dude, my foot fell asleep. I had my right foot over my leg, and my foot fell. I was doing like the Jerry Seinfeld stomp because I was afraid I was gonna be limping. I was like, come on, wake up, foot.
I don't know if I ever told you a story. Like, it was crazy. Like, and it's like one of those, like, it's kids logic kind of things. I rode bus 5 when I was a kid, like the whole time until like high school. For some reason they switched routes and it became bus 27. Don't know why, but whatever. Not super relevant. Well, the 5 is relevant, not the 27. I'm a kid in 7th grade or 6th, what is it, 2nd grade, and I remember this vividly. And I don't know what switched in my brain to make it seem like it's okay, because I rode bus 5 for all 1st grade, so I did it as a 1st grader, 6 years old, bus 5. 2nd grade, riding bus 5, and for some reason, I was like bus 5. I'm in 2nd grade is 7, and so one day I decided, and I get on bus 7, and and this is how much I'm just not paying attention. One kid in my class, it was in my class, was like, "Hey, you ride this bus now?" And I was like, "Yeah, I've always ridden this bus." And like they were getting on, and the bus driver was like, "You ride this bus?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I've always rode this bus." And like at what point the adult missed it? It should have been like, "No, you don't. I've never seen you on my bus before." But they're like, "All right, let's roll with it." And so I went.
That little kid knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I rode the whole bus, and then like as we're going, like hometown, remember how like the layout was? This bus went the exact opposite of my direction of my house, but I'm not paying attention because I'm talking to my buddy on the bus, and we're all cool. And it wasn't until I realized when we crossed the bridge we crossed over I-10 and
Uh-huh.
we were passing like because my grandma used to live on the other side. Like you never met her because she passed away like right before I actually met you.
Yeah.
But my grandma lived on the other side of I-10, and I was like, "Why are we passing my grandma's house? This isn't the right way to my house." And that the bus driver was like, "I kind of figured," and so like they had to take me all the way back, and they had to figure out my name and call on the radio, and then they took me home. And I got off the bus, and my dad's like, "What's wrong with you?" And I was like, "I don't even know." And they're like, "We were so scared," and I was like, "So was I."
I mean, shit, laugh at you because I mean, kids, yeah, when you're young, I wrote down when I used to ride the bus, I'd ride like 40 minutes one way, but I mean, I was just like, man, yeah, that's a long trip for you guys too. I would have thought, it was more closer, but I guess obviously back then there wasn't as many schools to the lines or whatever. But hey, last story before we hit the break. I thought of you. I was gonna text you this last week, and I was like, no, save it for the show, right? So I was doing I called it spelling helper. Like every year, kids always discover something that I didn't anticipate. And so,
Yeah,
like, well, I can't do that anymore, or whatever. But I've been using spelling helper. They turn the speech to text on, so it helps them spell their sentences, right? And so this way, they're
yeah.
not like, Mr. Bing, how do I spell start? Mr. Bing, how do I spell school? Mr. Bing, how do I spell that? And I'm just like, use spelling helper. Well, these kids last week had the speaker on, and some of them were yelling out cuss words into the speaker, right?
Yeah.
And then they're like, Mr. Bing, someone's hacking us. The computer's possessed. And one kid was like crying. I was like, sit down. And I had to get on. I was like, look, boys and girls, first off, we're taking spelling helper away. Like, it's gone. Thanks a lot. I was like frustrated, but I was like, it's not possessed. It's not hacked. When you guys cuss into it, there's a little
It's gonna
delay.
say back.
And it's gonna type it back. I was just like, no, it's not a ghost. I was like, Choey would be here like, it's ghost, ghost. I was like, no, it's not a ghost. And there's a legit explanation for
I'm
this.
I'm all like, what if it is? What if the kids know?
Where yeah,
I'm out.
if you were there, I'd be like, I'd probably throw something at you. Shut up, you're rounding them up.
What's
But
wrong? What did you see it? It's a ghost. That's why you didn't see it.
all the time though. But all right, you got anything before break time?
Nah.
All right, man, roll into break and then the music.
Oh,
We take those gun bait, cheers mate, and cheers mate again. Or simply cheers, sometimes it's all tossed empty, other times it's cheers, are you effing hoser? We also say sorry, salute, or to gain. Skull in Russia we cheer, Nazarovia. And now in Vietnam we can say yo. Let's have Choey and Jandler cheers around the world. Cheers, cheers around the world. Different languages, same sentiment, raising our glasses to friendship and joy. Cheers, cheers, cheers around the world. Cheers, cheers around the world.
When I was listening to that, I was thinking about talking about the Cowboys with you, and then I was like, oh, we already had that conversation. I was thinking about. By the way, the headlines, which was great input and stories from both of us.
yeah.
You always laugh at me like, why are we playing this stuff? We never get to it. And I'm like, well, it's there, and if we run out of time, it's better. You know, you think about like it's better to have too much than not enough, right? Because I'm like, oh, we didn't get to do this, so it just went longer than I expected. So like, when we'll redo our TripAdvisor next time, or maybe not next time, but we'll redo it in the future for sure. Right?
Okay.
But because like I didn't, normally I thought it'd be about 15, 16 minutes. We hit like a 22, 23 minute, and I was like, oh, that's okay. We'll just reshift. But I was following the Spurs a little bit on my phone too. But hey, I gotta share my screen on this. So what I will do, right, is I don't know if you remember this last year, but the cool thing about Spotify for podcasts is they do like a wrap for the year, right? So here is our wrap 2024, right?
Yeah.
Let's go. It said fans were really loving our show in 2024. We got the increase, right? They said we took it to a whole new level. I don't know if that has the percentages. Oh, we gained 12% of followers, right? It doesn't
What?
seem like a lot, but you're like, if you could do that every year, like it just reminds me of I remember there was a question one of our they're like, would you rather get a penny every day and have it double, or would you rather start like with like $1,200? But I was like, dude, you always want your money doubled. Like, if you can double your money every day, you're like, yeah, a penny sucks. But after a while, you're making tons of money, right? I'm just saying, if we can get 12% every year, that's pretty good.
I remember like the youngest asked me that question. He doesn't do it anymore, which I'm happy about. But for a while, it was like every other like day. Would you rather this or this? And I'm like, dude, you just asked me that. And I picked the wrong one the first time. And he tells me, oh no, because if you do this, then this. And I was like, really? And so we figured it all out. And I was like, oh, cool. Good to know. So now I know. And we'll do it like that, right? But then he asked it again and again. And I was like, dude, like, I got it.
Would he forget it? Was it like Groundhog Day and then he forgot he said it and you're like, can you say the answer? He's like, man, how'd you know all that, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, and then one time he was like, I remember, just answer the question. And I was like, if you remember me talking to you about it, then you already know my answer to the question.
Dude, the rap 2024 rap says our fans' favorite episode was the one where Choey improvises.
Hey.
I don't remember what happened there, but apparently it was pretty good, right? It was streamed 316% more than our average episode, so congrats, Choey. Never wondered who our audience was. There's a little breakdown. I told you, man, we're our biggest percentage. Well, actually, our biggest percentage is a little bit older than us, 45 to 54. But the 35 to 44 range is like 35 to 54-year-olds. That's our niche, right?
Yeah.
We need your kids to help us with the under 20s, and then trying to reach out to that's amazingly it's 25 to 29. Like, dude, I call people that say silly things on Facebook and sports, like group posts. I keep calling them kids, so I wonder like if you keep calling us kids and making fun of us, I wonder why they don't like us. It's worth thinking about, right? I like in 2024 we've traveled the globe. We know this, right? But I like how I think we're in 13 other countries besides the US, right?
Yeah.
And here it says that from other countries, these people have great tastes, right? Because they like us. And some of the other shows they like, Crime Junkie, Manchester United podcast. I mean, I listed a Stratford Paddock. ESPN FC, yeah, same here. I don't know what So Supernatural is, but here's some of these other podcasts that these people listen to around the world. Number one, music is pop. That's why I'm trying to do a couple pop renditions of our. That may be what we need to do on one of these special episodes. A pop reference to our song. They got punk rock. Dude, what do you consider classic rock now? By the way, like anything before the 90s?
What do I consider classic?
It must be. Yeah, what do you consider classic rock?
I mean, I would say honestly, something along the lines of I don't know, man, like Van Halen, stuff like that.
Oh, well, that's what I think classic rock. But what I'm saying, I feel like classic rock now is like people like I feel like Nirvana. People are gonna call that classic rock. I feel like anything. That's what I'm saying. Like, not what I call it, but I feel like nowadays people are like classic rock. Yeah, that's Pearl Jam. I'm like, well, I get it now because that was 30 years ago. And I'm like, what?
Well, you gotta think, man. Like, what's crazy is the fact that, like, what was like pop for us?
Yeah.
Like NSYNC and all those guys.
Yeah.
Like NSYNC, Limp Bizkit, all that stuff. Well, I don't know. Limp Bizkit's on the oldies channel, but I know, like NSYNC was on like.
Pop, just so you know. Sorry.
Huh?
So Limp Bizkit is not pop music, just so you know.
I know, but I was like, you were kind of talking about the whole classic rock kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like that's kind of like more the stuff that I'm thinking. Like they have the oldies and stuff like that now, and it's like, dang man, like they're on the oldies channel, and I'm like, well, shoot, like it's not really oldies, so. It made me feel.
Oh, we're that old. Yeah.
But yeah, it makes me feel old. Like I was like throwing, and this wasn't recently either, man. This was like I don't know, 5-6 years ago, probably.
Mhm.
Got like rolling through Kono, the old golden oldies, and there's like Justin Timberlake and all them.
little tangent there, courtesy of Choey and Jandler, right?
Well, I mean, it's to wrap up the year, right?
Exactly. By the way, we were a top 10 for 11 of our fans, just so you know, right? We're a top 5 podcast for 8 of our fans. Woohoo!
Yeah.
We are considered the #1 show for those same 8 fans. So nice, you know.
That's a cool stat. They listen to us 9.7 times more than they listen to other people.
Yeah, for our favorites, you know. What kind of creator were we? We publish frequently, right? But so they call us the entertainer. Would you agree? We're the entertainer personality.
What were the other personalities?
I
mean, what else do they have to pick from? Because if it's like,
I don't remember that. It went fast.
We're definitely not like informational and like this truest sense of like giving you quality information. What? We got 4.7 out of 5?
Yep.
Dude, we're better than like most crap they sell on Amazon.
Yeah, it's like thank you for giving people something to talk about. We'll stop it there, right? It probably keeps going and whatnot, but not a bad little...
Take that little song like on the Step Brothers. Let's give them something to talk about.
Was that's their version, right?
Yeah,
somebody else did that before, right?
I know, but like that's about as good as I can sing right there. The Step Brothers.
No, okay, it's good. Because I always remember that's a Bonnie Raitt song. I remember like in the '90s.
Yeah,
that's the first one I remember doing that. That's another thing that makes me feel older. I don't know about you, but when everyone keeps redoing these songs, I'm like, I remember when so and so did that, and it's like been redone like 5 times, and you're like, what the?
So what is it?
Everybody.
What is it called? Fastest Car or Faster Car? Whatever that song is.
The Luke Combs, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like, cool. Redo the song.
Yeah.
My problem with that song is he sings the straight lyrics, and that's a song that was sung by a girl.
Tracy Chapman. Yeah.
So when he sings it, there's some stuff where I'm like, you should have like switched over to be like more of a like switch the pronouns or whatever to be like a dude, like because otherwise it don't make sense that you're singing it as a guy, a girl song, but whatever.
You know what gets, and I like the song, right? I love the song. What gets me though is like the dude won like a not a Grammy. What do they call it? Country Grammy. Like I forget what they call it.
There you go, Country Grammy. Let's just call it that.
Okay, I forgot what it's called. But he won, and she didn't like she never won anything. I don't think she won that for her song. And I'm like, he didn't do anything except like change it to a country song. It's the same song, and he got an award for it. And I'm like, okay, I'm like, it's a good song. I'm just like, I didn't, I just felt weird. Like you're winning something for somebody else's work, and all you did is just recover it. But there's been some good songs that have been covered. Like one of my favorite Jimi Hendrix songs was a Bob Dylan song he like covered.
Oh, really?
And then sometimes you don't know that. You're like, oh yeah, somebody else did this song. You're like, man, but all right, and go real quick. Moving on to our social media plugs. We need to wrap this up. Definitely over the break, I'll redo the Instagram for us, right? So people can follow us at Choey Njan, CHOEY, the letter NJAN. We're still on X. We're still on Facebook, adding stuff to that. We're still on TikTok. But it's like I need to get the threads and the Instagram back up and running. Speaking of TikTok, I was listening to Colin Cowherd, right? And he said something. He's like, because he was talking about the NBA is like they're patting themselves on the back that they're like they're loved in all the social media. And he's like, man, some of those social media plugs don't really mean anything. But he's like, enjoy TikTok while it's still legal. It may not be legal in like 3 to 4 weeks. And I'm like, oh, that's right. Trump hated TikTok. So if that's outlawed, we do a lot of I do a lot of digital shorts on TikTok, and I'm like, oh man. So here's hoping that didn't go for us.
I don't know. We're not trying to get too political. We're at the end of the show anyways. We'll pull a plug here in a second, but I don't know. I feel like he'll probably cave. It'll probably be all right.
No, I mean, for our listeners on TikTok, I hope so. But,
yeah.
All right, man. Let's go and pull that plug.